Hey Housekiss, welcome to today's Big Brother Canada updates and spoilers. Our Housekiss of the day is Patsy Crawford. Woo! Give it up, girl! Okay, so thank you so much for your support, Patsy. You're awesome. And if you guys want to be Housekiss of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. I'm sorry I look like poop today, guys, but yesterday sucked the life out of me. If it's that painful to look at, just minimize this and listen to the update. Okay, so yesterday, they had the Power Veto competition. We had Netta, Cass, and Jackie playing, along with 3 extra players, Ika, William, and Emily. So the feeds were down for more than 6 hours. I believe the competition was called Runway to Veto, and it took such a long time to do, because, bless you, because this was done in multiple rounds, and you know that always takes forever. There was also some sort of memory element and some sort of fashion element to this challenge. It sounds to me like the people who weren't competing had to like put on different outfits, and they were like models, and then they had to keep changing every round. I don't know. That's what it sounded like. But anyway, William won the Power Veto. Who? Just kidding. William won the Power Veto, so good for him. So when the feeds came back, William and Dre were speaking French. Oh my god, I can't deal with it. I wish I had taken French in high school just so I would know what's going on this season. I mean, it's like really frustrating because they have these really long conversations in French. And I have no idea what the hell's going on. And I'm paying $0 to watch these feeds. So, like, I want to know what's going on. But anyway, if you guys know, let me know in the comments. Okay, so Netta and Bruno were having a game chat in the HOH room. And they're like, all right, Ika, she's, like, getting a little bit better now. Because, you know, they were really pissed at her the other day. But she's getting back to her old self now for the next 10 minutes, and they're like, she just needs to chill out a little bit with the whole Dylan thing, because there's a lot of tension between those two, because they're thinking Dylan is not even targeting her right now, but he will if this continues. So they're like, she needs to just like rein it in a little bit. All right, so then they were talking about this week. They still 100%, 100 want Cass out this week, and then they were talking about their next targets, Gary and Dre. Dre was in such a good spot last week, and then she's really been sticking her neck out for Cass this week, and she's like blowing up her game right now. It's really bad. But they feel like once they get rid of Dre and Gary, they can pull in William for themselves and have him all just for them. Okay, so then Ika and Demetres were chatting, and Demetres is like, he was talking about like way in the future, so whatever. He was like, I don't think that I would be able to cut you in the final 3, Ika, the way that John cut Netta. So he's thinking like way down the line. And he's totally fallen. But that was not how that song goes. They both talk about how cool it would be for the two of them to go to the final 2 together. And they're saying that they wouldn't want to take anyone else over each other. I don't know if they're just saying that here or if they actually mean it, but to me it kind of sounds like an unofficial final 2 deal, right? I think Demetres actually feels that way, and he would take Ika to the final 2, but I don't know if she would take him to the final 2. If it was between going to the end with him, like for funsies, and like her taking somebody else and winning, I feel like she would want to win, right? Okay, so then Netta and Cindy were chatting in the HOH room, and they're kind of just like assessing how the game's going so far for them, and they feel like no one's really targeting the 6 right now, so they're in a pretty good spot. But they're like, oh man, things are going too well right now. I'm gonna have to get myself thrown out of an Applebee's. No, they think that things are going so well right now that there's probably gonna be a twist coming up, and they're probably right? I mean, I feel like usually in the first few weeks we get some sort of instant eviction or something. I feel like that could be in the very near future, maybe a double eviction, I don't know. Something's telling me instant, but we'll see. So they're feeling pretty good about their relationships with Emily and Dylan right now. But when the time does come to get rid of them, they want to lose Emily first because they feel like she's really the brains of that operation. And if she goes, Dylan is still going to have a big target on him. If they go the other way and get rid of Dylan, Emily's got a really good shot of just, like, sticking around until the end because, like, nobody's going to really go after her. She's just going to fly under the radar. So they're definitely going to be aiming to take out Emily before Dylan. They're also really nervous about Gary because he's super good at competitions and he's playing a great social game so far. So they're like, crap, we are going to have to get rid of him sooner rather than later. Alright, so then we've got Dre and Cass chatting in the Have-Not Cave. It's like the Bat Cave, but like if he was poor and he didn't have all the cool gadgets and he was inside a whale. Right? Okay, so Cass is like, alright, give me the dirt. Like, what did William say about the power veto? See, she probably doesn't speak French either. She's like, what did William say about the POV? And Dre's like, well, William told me that he is not going to use it and that he, like, already told Netta that he's not going to use it. So Cass is like, are you serious? Like, Jackie already flipped. She's not with us anymore. So then Dre's like, yeah, I told William that, but he still trusts Jackie 100%. So Cass starts really playing the victim here. She's like, Jackie threw me under the bus. Everybody's throwing me under the bus. Jackie didn't throw you under the bus until you threw her under the bus to Netta. Am I right, though? Okay, so then she's saying her only real option here is to get William to use the veto on her. So how is she planning on doing this? Well, she thinks that the fake tears are going to work. So she's ready to bring those bad boys out. I don't know if she's still got that skill. It seems a little dry. I don't know. It might have dried up a little bit. But Dre is like, we're going to have to talk to him about this separately because he doesn't like feeling ganged up on. So, like, you talk about it, then I'll talk to him later. We'll see what happens. So Cass is like, all right, let's do this. So she starts trying to summon the fake tears, but she's having a lot of problems with that. It's just not happening for her. So she's like, all right, I'm going to make this happen. Dre, you go and get William and bring him back, and I'll be crying by the time he gets here. So Dre leaves, and Cass is like, come on, come on. And they're just not coming out. Also, William did not feel like talking to her at that time anyway, so it didn't matter. But Cass finally got her chance to talk to William a little bit after 2 a.m. She's acting all sad, and she's like, everybody's acting like I'm already out, and it's so messed up. And then she's like, Jackie threw me under the bus. She's playing the whole victim routine again. And William's like, but Cass, you threw all of us under the bus. Oh, shit! William is going for it. When he said that, I was just like, whoa, wee. So then Cass is like, that's bullshit. I've been loyal to you guys this whole time. And William's just like, that's what he said. So then Cass is like, everybody's blaming everything bad on me. And again, I don't know if William's really buying what she's selling. I feel like no, but then like some later conversations have me going, William, really? But we'll get there. So she tries to turn on the cheers again. During the conversation, she's like, I've been nothing but loyal, and I don't want my boyfriend and his family to see these blow-ups in the house that I'm involved in, and like, oh, Cass. So then he lets her know, Cass, I can't use the veto on you because it could end up putting a target on myself and on Dre, and I can't have that. So Cass is like, no, what? They're not going to go after you if you use the veto. They're still going to go after me and then Ika. So then Bruno comes in, and the conversation ends. Don't worry, they're going to talk again. So this morning, Ika and Netta seem to be back on track. You know, there was a lot of tension with them on Friday after nominations, but it seems like they're, you know, it's all going to be okay for now. So they were chatting up in the HOH room this morning, more about Gary being a threat, talking about Dre being sketchy as well, but they feel really good about the 6 right now. We'll see how long this lasts. All right. So then Netta, after that, was trying to pull in Emily closer. She gave her some information to, you know, make her feel like, hey, buddy, look what I'm telling you. We're all good. So she's telling her about her next targets, and Netta's like, straight up, Gary and Dre both have to go. Big threats. Got to get rid of them. So then they were talking about this week, if William did use the veto on Cass, either Gary or Dre would go up as the replacement nominee. She hasn't decided yet who it would be, but definitely one of those two. So Netta's like, yeah, Gary, he's awesome, but he's only loyal to himself. And that's not a good alliance member. Like, they can't really work together. They can't work with that. So then, back to Cass. she gets another chance with William. They were in the bridge room this time, and William is nervous to use the power veto on Cass because he's worried that, like, Dre would go up on the block as a replacement, which is a very real possibility, as we just saw in Netta's conversation with Emily. So Cass is like, oh no, Netta wouldn't put up Dre if he used the veto. Who are you to promise that? You don't know. You didn't even know you were going up on the block until Netta told you. So then Cass is trying to say that Netta would put up somebody else who's really close to Cassandra, and Cass doesn't realize Netta knows that Dre is close to her. She's like, oh no, Netta would definitely put up Gary because she thinks that we're super close. She does not have the best read on this house, but Cass is also trying to pull William away from Kevin. She thinks that Kevin has too much of an influence on him, so she's like, yeah, you shouldn't believe anything that Kevin tells you. He's just using you. And she's also saying, like, we need to take out Netta and her people, like Bruno, Kevin, and Cindy, and she feels like she could be the person to lead the charge against them. So then Cass is like, please, William, talk to Dre more about it. She knows that Dre wants her to stay, so she's like, go talk to Dre about it. All right, so then Cass is telling Dre about her conversation with William, and she's like, yeah, William is nervous that you'd be going up on the block in my place. And Dre's like, yeah, I feel like I probably would too. She's got a good feeling there. So it's interesting that Dre would be okay with William using the veto, knowing that she would likely be the one going up on the block. Does she not realize that she would probably go home against Jackie? I don't get that. But anyway, Cass is telling her, no, Gary would be the replacement nominee. Alright, so then Dre is talking to Ica, and she tells her Cass is trying really hard to convince William to use the veto on her, and Ica's like, well, Cass can just go home, because apparently Cass has been going around saying, like, oh, I'd be fine going home because I got my nice-ass life back at home, I got my wine, I got my rich boyfriend. So Ica's like, she can go back to that. It's all good. She doesn't want to hear it at this point. In her mind, Cass is leaving. Now, as we've seen in the past, Ica tends to change her mind every 10 minutes, but so far, she still wants Cass to go. Alright, so then William and Jackie had a pretty lengthy discussion in the hot tub today, and they've been getting a lot closer. They do have that alliance, the three of them, William, Jackie, and Dre, but William and Jackie have really been bonding lately. So he's nervous that if they do get rid of Cass this week, that he and Dre are going to become the main targets because they have a really strong duo. But Jackie's telling him, like, no, there's plenty of other duos in the house. Like, why would they go after you guys? So then William's like, well, I'm also nervous that people are just, like, pinning all this stuff on Cass to get rid of her this week. And, like, maybe they're all lying and she's telling the truth. Are you serious, William? So then Jackie's like, remember how Cass threw us all under the bus this week? And remember how she has deals with everyone? Like, do you really think that everyone except for her is lying? Come on. So then Jackie is also telling William, look, if you use the power of veto on Cass, Dre's probably going to go up on the block. Is that really what you want? Like, she's your best friend in the house. Wake up. So then Gary gets his chance to talk to William, and he's like, all right, look, William, I'm not going to baby you. Now, a lot of people have been starting their conversations with William by saying, like, I'm not going to baby you, because William has said that he really hates when people act like, or like treat him like he's a baby, right? So they're trying to appeal to him there. But Gary is saying, look, I really like Cass, and Cass is really good for my game, but you should not use the veto on her. Gary knows that he could be up on the block if Cass comes down. He's not dumb. So he's like, oh, Netta would probably put up Dre as a revenge if you use the veto. So William's like, yeah, but Dre's cool with me using the veto. And Gary's like, oh yeah? Well, she's going to be really depressed when she gets home. For real, though. Okay, so then Gary also wants to pull William away from Kevin. So he's warning him, like, Kevin and Netta are liars. Like, I'm your number one, or I'm your number two behind Dre. Like, don't get it twisted. Gary likes to tell people that he is their number one. It's really funny. But anyway, we're going to pick it up there tomorrow. The power veto ceremony is also tomorrow. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Should William use the veto? Yes or no? And until tomorrow, much love.